Hi, this is Diane Lovetobake on YouTube. And what we're going to make are sweet rolls. And these rolls really go great in the morning. And you can put marmalade or jelly or jam on them. And they're so easy to make. They really are. What I also like about them that I made them with a whole wheat pastry organic flour. And I really felt that using this pastry organic flour, they come out lighter and less dense than you would expect them to. And I went ahead and I made these rolls in my bread maker on the dough cycle or bread machine. If you don't have a bread machine or bread maker and you want to do it by hand, you certainly can do that. I like to use my bread maker because I feel it just gives me consistent results all the time, and it's really easier and faster for me to do so. And I'm going to give you the recipe of this beautiful dough right now, so if you want to jot it down, because I no longer put my recipes below the video anymore, and I'll explain in a little bit, but this is what you're going to need. You'll need 1 3/4 cups of applesauce. Now I use the unsweetened, but you certainly can use the regular sweetened version of applesauce, whatever brand that you prefer. You'll need 3 tablespoons of butter. I prefer butter for this recipe, but you can use margarine. I've done it and it's been successful. You'll need 2 tablespoons of granulated sugar. Now I'm going to stop for a second because I do want to remind you that, especially if you're using your bread maker, follow your directions, manufacturer's directions, because I know on mine I have to put my liquid first before I put my dry. Some are a little different, so do follow. At this point I want to go back a little bit because I will tell you that it is best, I do anyway, I melt my butter in the microwave in a micro-safe bowl and let it cool. I think it works better. So again, 3 tablespoons of butter or margarine and 2 tablespoons of your granulated sugar, just to go back a little bit. 1 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon, and that really matches up well, I think, with the applesauce, of course. And 1 1/4 cups of your organic pastry flour, the whole wheat is what I'm using. And you need 2 1/2 cups of bread flour, whatever brand that you prefer, of course. And you'll need 2 1/2 teaspoons of active dry yeast to make this. Now I usually cut it in half, so you're only seeing half of this, and I get 18 rolls out of it. But anyway, I'm just going to take this out of my bowl and put a little bit of my whole wheat pastry organic flour down on my countertop here, just lightly dusted. You don't want too much flour, and I'm not going to really work it. And what I like to do is I cut it actually into half. Now I get 9 rolls out of it, but I like to weigh my rolls so every roll is consistent. You don't have to do that. You certainly can just cut them and do it that way, that type of thing. So I'm just going to turn on my little scale here and just start cutting off. And I generally use about 1 and 1.8 ounces to make the roll. Then if I've got it too big, I just cut a little off. like that. I'm not going to show you, certainly everybody knows how to cut dough, okay, but you know, the 1.8 to me is just a perfect size, so that especially if you're having them at breakfast, that kind of thing. And like I said, I do the 1.8 and I get 18 of them. You can make them larger and get less, but it's up to you how big you want to make them. And then just on folding them, I just push them down a little bit like that. Of course, I bring everything into the center, like pinching it. So I'm really shaping a ball, really. Just pushing that in. And then the rest I just roll in my hands like that. We'll do another one here. Yeah, let's cut another one. Well, okay. Now, of course, you're going to have to wait for these to double in size. Okay. And like I said, I really like to make them exact, the 1.8, and I just flatten it. Everyone has their own way or own method of shaping the dough, but I find that's what I like to do. And just roll them in the palms of my hands and make a nice round ball like that. Okay, now you're going to put them in a greased baking dish. I usually use an 8x8 stoneware, but it's really up to you what you want to do. And I do bake them at 400 degrees, and they can come up anywhere in 20 and 30 minutes. So I start watching mine around, well, about 17, 18 minutes, because you know, all our ovens set up so differently. They really do. Now also, I wanted to mention that I like to put an egg wash on them once I get them in my dish. Okay, and you can put them once that they rise. Now once you put them into your baking dish, then again I generally put a little bit of egg white over them, or wait till they rise, and then put a clean kitchen towel or a towel over your dish and let them rise till they're double. And it depends on the temperature of your kitchen, but mine usually are within half hour, 40 minutes. Maybe it'll take an hour to double rise them, but you do want them to double in size before you put them in the oven. So let me just rinse my hands here. Also, I want to mention that I loved about this recipe is that it used very little butter. If you notice, the moisture is really coming from the applesauce. So let me rinse my hands here real quickly. Now what I do is I also put a sugar glaze over them. You do not have to do that. This is the 8x8 that I was talking about. And I generally have really good luck with just actually using an oil spray in the pan. You grease it however that you want. And then what I do is I just mix up a powdered sugar glaze. Now you can make it to whatever consistency that you want, thick or thin. And you know, use milk, or you can use water if you don't have milk, or maybe someone's allergic, they can't have milk. And then I like to just cover them just to add a little bit of sweetness to it. But these rolls are great without even having the sugar. So let's cut into them here. Get this out of the dish here. Now, when you break them open, they're really, believe it or not, very delicate and very light. They're not as dense as you think they're going to be. Because I know a lot of times people, they hear, you know, whole wheat, and it's like, oh gosh, it's going to be dry, it's going to be tasteless, it's going to taste like cardboard. These rolls do not taste like cardboard, trust me. They are extremely, very, very moist and soft. They have a bit of chew to them when you do bite into them, but they are really a delicious little sweet roll where you get the taste of the applesauce coming through and then that cinnamon. And like I said, they're great warm if you just want to put them in the microwave for less than a minute or so, or pop them in the oven, that kind of thing, or just let them sit out. They are just delicious with or without the glaze, and then put a little marmalade or your favorite jelly or jam if you want even a little bit more sweetness. But like I said, they're so easy to make. They are great tasting little sweet rolls. So if you give this recipe a try, I always say leave a comment, because I'd like to hear, especially if you liked it, it went well, or you enjoyed it, and I'll answer you in a timely fashion. But I want to go back real quickly because some people write and say, gee, I'd love to see the recipe below the video. Yes, I did that for years. But now when I've seen people, and I'm not alone on this, that's for sure, they post, they pin, they take your work, they take it to other sites, claim it as theirs, and so frustrating to see that you've written me. You've taken the time to write Diane Lovetobake on YouTube, and I can't answer you. It is so frustrating. So please, if you're kind enough to watch me solely on YouTube, that is the only place that I put my work, is on YouTube. Also, if you'd like to subscribe, boy, I'd really appreciate it, or ring the bell. That'd be fantastic. So if you give these little rolls, again, they're made with that organic whole wheat flour, and they are really well worth the time that you're going to spend on them. I think you'd enjoy them. So thanks again for watching Diane Lovetobake on YouTube. Stay well, stay safe, and I'll see you soon.